not, I was pregnant for 3 years. Sounds crazy? Well, it's true.
You know, guys, I don't know why, but for some reason, I don't think that's true one bit. This channel right here is called Storytime Anime. Now, I made a video on this channel about 7 months ago on one of their other masterpieces of art. However, today I looked back at the channel and I found this video here that I wanted to look at. I was pregnant for 3 years, and this just sounds like total, absolute truth. And I think doctors and scientists should be learning from this woman of her true story. But anyway, with enough talking, let's continue.
But I was apparently unlucky. My husband and I were so scared we were infertile, but we still had hope. But before I dive in any further, please make sure—
I love how the first part of the video is literally, oh, I really wanted a child, oh, I really wish I was able to have a child, all my family are having children, and I'm just not, and I'm so scared that I'm infertile. But before we continue, make sure to hit that sub button. It's just such a huge contrast, and it's kind of funny, to be honest.
we were considering surrogacy or adoption, but we really wanted a baby of our own, and we couldn't afford to pay for either of those methods.
So let me get this right here. Neither one of you two can afford of these two other methods, so you can't afford for surrogacy or adoption, which, by the way, I looked up. Adoption is free, so even if it wasn't, if you can't afford either one of these methods, you're still going to have a child? That doesn't make any sense one bit, because if you can't afford these sorts of things, then you can't afford really to have a child.
I looked at the tiny screen, and it said if there were 2 lines, I was pregnant.
Man, the only thing I feel bad for in this video is the fact that they use a Game Boy sound. A Game Boy sound has been wasted on this shitfest of a video. We should rise up and go on strike for this garbage of wasting a Game Boy sound. Man, we need to start a goddamn petition.
Would you please sign my petition?
As if.
You gotta be fucking kidding. Fuck you.
If there was one, I wasn't pregnant.
Wow, thank you for the step-by-step tutorial on how pregnancy tests work, because I really need to know that when watching this video. You know, stuff like that can really make you tell the audience of these videos are really meant to be really young, during the fact that they are this animation style, and the fact that they do stuff like this.
I had to stop working because since I worked at this coal factory, I couldn't really move the equipment as well as I used to, and my husband and I agreed it would probably be best if myself and the baby didn't breathe in the fumes at the factory. This was a pretty tough decision though, seeing as we didn't have much money and now we were losing another source of income.
Right there is another problem. If you already don't have much money, it's probably not a good time to have a child when you don't have much money, otherwise, well, the kid's not really going to have a good life. He's pretty much been homeless his entire life. Also, you didn't have to quit the job. There's something called maternity leave, which is what you do when you have a child. And that means that you haven't left and you still get some form of income from your job.
My husband and I also decided we wouldn't bother having doctor appointments throughout the pregnancy.
Well, that's fucking retarded, because if the child dies, you won't even know.
For starters, they were incredibly expensive, and we just didn't have the money.
Okay, look, I know I've said this point multiple times, and call me Leafy, because I'm sure I'm probably going to rephrase this point or say it again multiple more times in this video. But if you cannot afford to do basic doctor visits just to check up on your baby, I don't know why you're having a child, because at that point, you probably can't afford things like nappies or baby food or any of the other necessities that are needed when you have a child.
Secondly, we already had our own baby monitor device, the one we bought online, so we didn't need to worry. As long as we could hear the baby's heartbeat, everything would be fine.
Yeah, because who needs doctor visits when you've got this baby checkup thing you bought for AliExpress for less than a Tesco meal deal?
My due date was coming up, and we were so excited. I wondered what the gender of the baby was, but I didn't care either way.
Yeah, you better not, since going off how people act nowadays, I'm pretty sure gender is fucking optional now for some people.
I would love it no matter what. But then, the due date came, and went, and I hadn't given birth yet.
See, one thing I don't get is, like, if she was actually pregnant, you'd think she'd mention stuff about, you know, having cramps, which are some side effects of being pregnant, but not at one point in this video or any of this mention show, I don't understand why throughout this whole video, she keeps thinking she's pregnant, when if she has zero of these side effects, there's a very high chance that either she was never pregnant, or she was pregnant, but the child died.
My stomach was enormous by this point, I had been eating a lot because I heard you were eating for 2 people, right?
Well, that answers that question why your stomach is so big. It's 'cause you're fat as fuck! 'Cause you keep eating. No wonder the stomach is getting so big. It's 'cause you keep eating like a fat, disgusting little pig going for some slop.
Then a week after my due date, there was still no baby. We were starting to worry. We used the baby monitor device again, and we could still hear the baby's heartbeat, so it was fine.
I love how they're putting all of this into their baby thing, because I mean, I had a look online. These things go for, at cheapest, about 15 quid. So that means this thing is most likely just a piece of plastic that they've just bought off like AliExpress for like a tenner at the fucking least. So they're putting all of this into that. Why not go to a doctor? And before you say, oh, they can't afford it. Well, if they just went to a doctor in the first place and found out she wasn't actually pregnant, they wouldn't have wasted all this money on baby shit for a child they're never going to have.
More and more time passed, and then it came to 10 months. I was 1 month overdue. When would I give birth?
Never. Either that child's fucking dead or he never existed in the first place.
Then, a year. We were really concerned, and we searched online, and it said sometimes pregnancies can last longer than 9 months. The world record for the longest pregnancy was 375 days. This was not right. It was universally known that a pregnancy lasted 9 months, right?
Yes, but hold a minute. Didn't a second ago, didn't you just say that some pregnancies have lasted longer than 9 months? Correct?
So what was wrong with me?
Simple. You're a schizo and autistic.
We used the baby heart monitor again, and the heartbeat was still going just as strong. So we decided we would trust our baby. Let the baby decide when it wanted to come out.
Yeah, 'cause babies can just do that. I'm sure they're gonna send you a text message saying, I am ready to come out now.
I also felt somewhat proud. I must be a really good mother considering the baby wanted to stay inside me.
Okay, first of all, I'm pretty sure at that point, the baby is not developed enough to even think about having an opinion on whether they like someone or not. And second of all, I don't think the baby actually has a choice, and even if it did, if it wanted to stay inside you and never properly meet you, I'm pretty sure that means that it fucking hates you.
Time passed, and it was 1.5 years already. Eventually, our family said I must have had a miscarriage. I must have lost the baby. I was so upset, and my husband and I told them not to say such a thing.
Well, to be honest, though, they've got a good reason to say that. If you've been pregnant for a year and a half, that's a pretty good reason to think, maybe you've had a miscarriage.
We could hear the baby's heartbeat through the monitor. Of course I was pregnant, but they didn't believe us, so my husband and I decided to cut off ties with them. If they didn't believe us, then why should we bother speaking to them?
You guys are actual fucking retards.
Yo, is this person fucking retarded?
Yes.
Yo, is this person fucking retarded?
Yes.
Years passed. I got used to the big belly, and I just believed that my baby was taking longer than most to come out. I had been pregnant for 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years, just a little bit longer than 9 months.
When would I give birth?
Never, since you definitely had a miscarriage.
But then I wondered, would that mean when I did eventually give birth, the baby would be 3 years old? That would be massive. I was so worried, and I told my husband we had to go to the doctor. We went to the doctors, and they hooked me up to a monitor. The doctor looked around on the screen and stayed silent for a while. But then she spoke up and told us I wasn't pregnant.
Wow, who saw that one coming? The video is clickbait. Who would have saw that one coming?
I just had a big belly.
Wow, who would have guessed she wasn't pregnant, she was just fat.
We were shocked, to say the least. We almost didn't believe her. We told her about the baby heart monitor, the one we bought online. But she explained those didn't always work. Sometimes they just played out heartbeats, even when there weren't any. She nodded her head sadly. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but it's true. You're not pregnant. Those baby heart monitors you bought were faulty.
Wow, who would have guessed that? And who would have guessed solving all these problems could have been solved by going to the doctor? Not me.
But, started my husband, why does she have a big stomach then?
'Cause she kept eating and now she's fat.
The doctor looked uncomfortable. Well, that is just flesh.
Who really would have saw this one coming?
So, this is just fat? The doctor nodded. I'm afraid so.
Yo, can we seriously give this doctor a raise? 'Cause I'm sure this is not the only absolute retards this doctor has to deal with on a daily basis.
But then the doctor seemed to jump as something lit up on the monitor screen.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make this video a bit easy for you guys to watch because, to be honest here, I do not want to make you guys have to sit through the garbage fest of this video that I've had to sit through. Pretty much over the next minute, it will turn out that she was in fact pregnant, and they've never had someone be pregnant for 3 years.
I have a baby inside of me? Well, no, you don't have a baby. I raised my hands in frustration.
Or maybe she doesn't. I don't know, honestly, because what we just heard before that she is pregnant is now just contradicting it now, saying she isn't pregnant.
You are pregnant, just not with a baby. So... The doctor took a deep breath. You're pregnant with 3 babies.
I fucking quit, man. So since I don't want to make you guys have to sit through this absolute garbage fest for another couple minutes, I'm going to summarize exactly what happened. So pretty much, it turns out she is pregnant, and these 3 children have actually not grown a single bit, pretty much. So she's had to have a surgery, but now she's had the surgery, and in 9 months she can have the triplets, which she does, and boom, she's got children. And the genders of the children are 2 boys, 1 girl. That might not sound important, but trust me, it'll be important in a second. So now I want to go into why I believe this entire story is fake, and pretty much, I did a bit of research into this, and you think, you know, a story like this, which is the first time it's ever happened in the world according to this clip here.
You see, this is a very special case. As far as we're concerned, this has never happened before in human history.
So you think something like this, you know, being this crazy would, you know, be covered on the news. However, after doing a bit of research, there is absolutely no mention of this anywhere on the entire internet. And again, something like this, which is the first time it's ever happened in human history, would definitely be covered. However, though, something did appear. So about 4 years ago, a news story came out called Identical Triplets Born at Methodist Women's Hospital 3 years later, a blessing that might have each other. And this news story was published on the 29th of June 2020, which actually adds up with this video's release date, which was August 2020. However, though, at no point in the news story is anything mentioned about a woman being pregnant for 3 years with these triplets. In fact, it actually is said to be a very normal pregnancy of 9 months, just with triplets. And the story does say that the woman did in fact go to the hospital while being pregnant multiple times. And another thing, in the real story, it's actually said that they had 3 girls, and in this fake story here, it is said that they had 2 boys and 1 girl instead. So going off this evidence here, I'm pretty sure it's very safe to say that this story is in fact fake. So let me tell you what I think they did. I think they saw this very famous news story and they were like, holy shit, we can make some sweet YouTube 10-minute ad revenue off of this story. All we need is, you know, to change the story a bit, make it seem just a bit different, and then boom, we get money, because no one does any research on the internet nowadays, definitely not. No one will ever think to even decide to look up this story. We can say it's the world first and it's never happened before, and everyone will just believe us, because no one does any form of research anymore. It doesn't really matter anyway, since these channels will keep going out, keep doing these fake stories, because it gets them all them views and all that money. So, in conclusion, do a bit of research and don't blindly follow everything you see on the internet nowadays, because there's a very high chance it's all fucking fake.
Would you please sign my petition?
As if.
You gotta be fucking kidding. Fuck you.
What?